We're just going to give it a prod in seconds, see what happens. Oh, Jesus.
And welcome back to the channel. I'm Sebastian and this is Sab on Cars, the channel where we react to everything to do with cars. And what do we have today? A very special video, another very special video, and we need a question to be answered. Could this be the best M car ever made? First of all, it had a V10, F1 derived V10. When BMW was still doing a lot of F1 stuff, they took some of that stuff and they put it into a sedan. This was the first time it was done and the last time it will ever be done. Well, a naturally aspirated F1 inspired high-revving V10. Nah, Audi RS6 had a V10 from the Colorado, but it had 2 snails on it, so it didn't rev as much or sound as good. Can we say it's not Formula 1, man? It's not the same as the E60. So now the question is, could this be the best one really? As I said again, V10, and this one is a touring, you know. You could take your dog, your family, all these people who say, oh, my family, it's not a family car. This is the Mac Daddy, the I'm a father, I'm now responsible, but I like to break my family's necks once in a while car. Very expensive to run now, were very expensive to run back then, but are they worth it? Are they worth it? After all this time, they're very old, man, more than 12 years old, easily. So let's just see what Chris Harris has to say about this car after all these years. Is this the best M car? I'll ask again. Let's jump straight into it. And let me fix my stuff. And here we go.
More than ever, it feels quite ridiculous to have this car on a track, but if I'm being honest with you, the only reason I'm here is I wanted to get that big slide shot so I could go, all the others have done the manual gearbox change, everyone else has done this and this, but you've not seen it driven like this. Well, in reality, I'm going to do that twice to get the shot, and I'm not going to do it again right now because I've got a funny feeling the diff might fall out of it or something will fail. I've not been through it with a tooth comb. It feels great on the road, but this morning she was a bit noisy. She had a grumble about her, not an expensive grumble, not an engine or gearbox one, but there was a wheel bearing or the diff, I'm not quite sure. Not a noise you get in a new vehicle. Yeah. This engine is 15, 16 years old in this car. It is magnificent. I know it's not very fast by today's standards, everything's got 650 horsepower, but a 500 horsepower, normally aspirated V10 is a thing of wonder. In an estate car, oh, we were so lucky to have these things.
It was magical.
So you'll notice that I changed gear using, I'm just out of sight probably, using the little mouse's ear down here. I used to call it a mouse's ear when this car was launched, I don't know why. I don't like the paddles on this car. I think they're rather ugly and they're not great positioned, and I leave them alone. In fact, I think I might take them off, just get rid of them. Because I use this thing down here because I like it a bit DTM.
Lovely colour.
Going to say much more about its handling on track. The EDC dampers definitely work because I've flicked them and the car is much, much stiffer. The electric seats work. These are really good seats actually. They've got the ability to bend the backrest halfway up, which I think they stopped doing afterwards because it was too expensive. Let's see what we can do here. Second gear. I'm really not sure about this. If you hear a bang,
listen to that.
The back wheels go off in a different direction, you know what's happened. So we won't do a transition because she's a bit old. We're just going to give it a prod in seconds, see what happens.
Typical M car.
Jesus.
M stuff.
That's not bad. What a thing. So that was EDC, full stiff, never slid it before, let the back end step out. It just went out beautifully. The M variable diff did its thing.
The diff was working.
What?
The limited slip diff.
Why have I not had one of these before?
I think it was the first car to have
24,750 I think I paid for it. It needs a service, needs an MOT soon. Plenty of tyre on there. The brakes are a bit useless, they really are grumbly. But the engine's had all the bits that you want doing to it. Well, I'll explain that on the road next. But I just wanted to show you that first slide. Let's have another go, shall we? Let's see what it looks like now. We go for a little slidey here.
Give us another one.
We just pin it here. It's absolutely brilliant. What a brilliant car. Track performance, pointless. Pretty good though. Front of the car's good. It's just a lovely, lovely thing. We'll go onto the road and I'll talk you through why I think everyone needs one of these. And quite a bit of money to run it. So here it is then. The 128,000 mile E61 M5.
It's
Covered
been
in stone chips, the front bumper doesn't quite fit very well. It's not had a crash. First things first, come and have a look inside. I'm going to open this door for you, then I'll go the other side. So the interior of these cars normally wears appallingly, but these aren't too bad. Look, all the electric bits work. Normally that bolster there collapses really badly. All this is pretty good, it's got a dent there. It looks like an old dashboard, it is an old dashboard, but I defy you to not be impressed by the fact it goes to 200. And this bad boy, without the limiter, will get very close to that number. Steering wheel's got some of that peely, rubbery stuff's coming away. It's actually a heavily specified car for the time. It's got this massive panoramic roof, it's got a DVD player. Back seats have had some life, have a look in there. You know, they've been sat on by little people. 2 dummy fag lighters. Doesn't have heated rear seats, which is a shame. Boot lid, look at this. Look how well this works. That works well. Tailgate, spare tyre came with the car. That doesn't fit too well. That's coming away, going to sort that out, but it's going to be a dog car, so I don't really mind. Watch this, closes beautifully. Bit of a scuff down there, that's its worst bit. But I'm not going to do that. I might even PPF over the scuff to keep the scuff, because it's part of the car. Patination is part of old vehicles. Just imagine it's 2006, I'm about to reveal it, ready? Da, na, na,
The
na,
pièce de resistance.
So, 5 litre V10, normally aspirated, 500 horsepower. All the crash panels look pretty good. It's really, really smooth. It's very, very fast. It is, look at that, it's got the original BMW sticker there for the paint. Indianapolis red metallic. It's had all the stuff you want doing to it. It might need a clutch soon, and I'd like to keep it as an SMG, I have to say, because it suits the character of the engine. But more of that to come on future stories. I'm so cold, I can't keep doing this much longer, because little Chris is now saying he's too cold as well. Let's have a look at a wheel. Lots of people tell me that they don't like these wheels. I think they're some of the best wheels on an M car. I mean, come on,
I also agree.
I'm so happy. I wouldn't be more pleased if I had a brand new, super duper brand new car. I'm a happy boy. I think the inner equilibrium of the car nerd is in a good place when you're celebrating old cars, because that's more authentic, and I think it centres you, makes you realise what it's all about. I'm a little bit in love. It's just a wonderful car. It's lived a life. The interior's in pretty good nick. It needs some work doing to it. Normally aspirated 5 litre V10. It's just, there ain't no substitute. You can turbocharge things, mess around with them. There's something about an engine that revs, that sounds like this, that makes this an instantly incredibly special car. I love it. Cars this age, you just get in them and think, I know what's going on here. I'm just going to grade it as being surprisingly fast or unsurprisingly fast, and this is surprisingly fast. It's really, really quick. You saw that skid shot. It'll light up the tyres in the 3rd and 4th gear in the dry. I think it's magnificent. Honestly, I thought this was going to be really scary, but now I'm in it. Not only am I not worried about it being scary, because it does feel quite strong. Why have I not owned one of these before? It's a V10 normally aspirated M car. Everyone's telling me that I should do the manual conversion thing. Well, do you know what? I'm not sure. I think this gearbox really suits this engine. It's big, it's practical, it's unassuming in Bournemouth Retirement Red, with this sort of weird, creamy interior. But best of all, I had a phone call. No, I had a message from a man from the BMW press office who might watch this film. Let's call him Marvin. And he said, Chris, it was a press car. So it was a press car. I did drive it when it was new. Sometimes you get in something and think, I've been here before.
Wow.
And I had been in this car before.
Wow.
I think I drove it to the nurburgring when it was new. And 125,000 miles later, I own it. I mean, I've got an Integrale that's minus an engine. I've got a Ferrari Mondial, you'll get updated about that at some point, that doesn't have a floor. All my cars have done more than 100,000 miles, but this is my happy place. I've had a few years of new expensive cars with warranties. Great, wonderful, efficient, fast. But where's the romance? Where are the problems? You know, I want the problems. I'm sorry, I do. I love it all. It's fantastic. There you go. Here endeth the lesson. And we've got big plans for this car. We're going to go and do something historical in it, let's say. Watch this space.
And I will end it right there. I'll end it right there. The last real, I feel, this is the last real M5, the last real M car. Old M cars used to have high-revving, naturally aspirated engines. This was the last M5 with a naturally aspirated engine, and it went out with a big bang. The 5-liter S85. Oh my goodness. When it first came out, it was madness. Like, everybody was like, how? Why would BMW do this? And they did it. They didn't care. Whatever the Merc had a 5.4 liters supercharged, those C55s and all that rubbish. Well, not rubbish, they're actually quite cool now in retrospect. You know, back then you were like, but now I'm like an older person, you know, I can appreciate all these cars without being a fanboy, right? And this car, the Chris Bangle. This was the Chris Bangle project, the car that made us all hate that name. A lot of people don't even know what Chris Bangle looks like, but they hate this car. They hate his era of cars. And now, all these years, like down the line, you look at these cars and now the M5 is like, wait a minute, E60 looked pretty good. I was a big fan of the M6. The E60, it had to have an M5, and then you see it with all the kids and stuff, you're like, oh, that's what they were trying to do. So back then, I wasn't really one of them, but it was like, it's an okay car. It's an okay car. But when the M5 dropped, I was like, oh my goodness, that's what they were trying to show us. That is what they were trying to show us. So Chris Bangle, we all owe you an apology. Everything just looks right with that car. The headlights, the way they flow in with the kidney grill, the way it was angled, because they keep, like with every generation, if you realize, they keep flipping the grill. Either it's upside down or upside up, you know, just to refresh the front. Except for now they've got those M4s with the buck tooth. That's totally different. And the X7s, you know, big grills, cool. But I'll still say it, this is one of the coolest cars ever. And if you do have the money, buy one. Historically, one of the best BMWs ever. One of the best. Like, you talk about BMW, anyone that has some sort of an idea about M cars will always tell you about this car. Audi drivers, Merc drivers, everybody loves this car. Even with that gearbox. Even I know everyone wants the manual. Also, Chris is right. I don't know, the way it changes, and it just sounds so good, man. But obviously, you're not going to track it, so you don't need to put a DCT or any of those gearboxes in. You can keep that gearbox or go manual. You know, like people who ruin CSLs, do that. But that's enough for me. From me, I mean. Until the next video, guys, please hit the subscribe button. I see the extra views. Thank you to everyone who views these videos. Thank you so much. And until the next video,